Thanksgiving is upon us, and today I'm going to be doing my favorite side dish on the Thanksgiving table, and that is the stuffing. Now, what we're going to do, we have onion, carrot, celery, some chopped fresh garlic, and for herbs we have fresh thyme, fresh sage, and fresh parsley. Now our pan is hot. We're going to introduce our ground cherise. Now you can purchase cherise already ground. What I do is I take a whole piece of cherise or like the whole chunk, and I'll put it in the food processor and process it myself because I can get the texture I'm looking for. Sometimes the pre-ground products are a little chunky, and you really need something that's a little finer so that it'll match up with the dice of your vegetables. Everything will be the same size and cook at the same time. So we're going to brown this off, and when it's brown, we're going to remove it from the pan. All right, folks, we've browned off our cherise. We've removed it from the pan. And next you want to do, don't clean out that pan. Leave all that residual goodness in there because that's just going to flavor your vegetables. But we need to add just a little more oil to the pan. And we're going to add our onions first. Now these vegetables are only sweating them off. We're not looking to get much color on them. Just to get them soft and translucent. We're going to start with the onions first. You can see the onions already, they're taking the color of that cherise. Just got a lot of flavor building there. All right, so we've got the onions where we want them. Now we're going to add in the carrots. We're talking about 2 cups of onions, finely diced, and 1.5 cups of carrot. Little by little, we're going to incorporate all these vegetables and herbs. Season as we go along. Every step you should be adding a small amount of seasoning. All right, we got our carrots and onions moving along good. Now we're going to add the celery. 1.5 cups of fine diced celery. Seems to be a little dry. I'm going to add just a little more oil to the pot. Hit it with a little salt and a little pepper as well. All right, now at this point, we're going to cover the pot with a lid. That'll help the vegetables sweat out and cook a little faster. All right, I'm going to remove the lid. Our vegetables are coming along nicely. They're nice and soft, nice and translucent. And at this point, this is when we're going to add the garlic. You don't want to put garlic in too soon. You want to wait till towards the end because garlic can burn pretty quickly. So you only want to do your garlic for a brief minute or two just to get that fragrance going. So we'll add the garlic, and with that we're going to add our herbs. The garlic was 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic, and we have 1.5 tablespoons of fresh thyme. We have 1.5 tablespoons of fresh sage. And we have 1/4 cup of fresh chopped parsley. Give that a stir. At this point, I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit. Let that go for a minute or two. I'm going to add just a little more oil. Once again, I'm looking for a certain amount of moistness to it, so it kind of glistens. All right, at this point, we're going to add our cherise back to the mixture and get all these ingredients all together. Just some oil on the bottom of that dish. Save that. Scrape every little drop out that you can. Nothing but flavor. All right, at this point, I'm going to turn the heat off and just let it coast. Everything is cooked. We just want to get everything incorporated. And then from this point, we're going to be going to the bread and do the finish touches on our cherished sausage Thanksgiving stuffing. Gonna put the lid on just for a minute. All right, folks, we have our cherished and vegetable mixture all ready to go. The next step is we're gonna take this, incorporate it into our breadcrumbs. Now, what I'm using today is an actual store-bought bread stuffing mix. There's all kinds of options. You can use cornbread, you can use any type of bread, you can cube it up yourself, or you could take an easy, convenient route out and purchase a store-bought bread stuffing mix. And what you're looking to have is about 4 or 5 cups. And what we're gonna do is just combine the two right now. All right, we got the two together. We're just gonna fold it all in, get it all nice mixed, incorporated. And once this is complete, we're gonna add a little bit of chicken broth to it. We need to get the moisture levels up a little bit. And we're gonna be adding, I would say, about a cup of chicken broth. It's gonna be kind of like an eyeball feel to touch the situation so that you can develop the right moisture. You don't want to go a whole cup all at once because you might oversaturate your stuffing mix. So just kind of do a little bit at a time, but we're looking at about maybe a full cup altogether. All right. So we'll add our approximately, I'll do about a half a cup at a time. That's good. Give it a mix. All right, we're getting there, but before I add some more chicken broth to this, I'm gonna add a secret ingredient. Now, there's many things you can add to this mix. You can add apple, you can add raisins, you can add chestnuts, but personally, I think it's great the way it is. The only thing I look for is one sweet component to it to balance off all the savoriness, all the smokiness in the cherished, and all the saltiness in cherished. And that, I can't think of a better thing to do than craisins. They're dried cranberries. So we'll add one of these in there, and the flavor balance you're gonna get is amazing. These things just kick everything up with the sweetness, the tartness. It just brings it right through the roof. And at the same time, they're very synonymous with Thanksgiving. All right, still a little bit dry. We're gonna add some more chicken broth at this point. And because this was a store-bought dried stuffing mix, we're gonna have to allow it a little time to absorb all the liquid. It'll only get better in moisture, if that's a word, more moist, in time. So don't rush this process. And once you think you've got it right, stop. Give it another 10 minutes or so. Allow it to absorb. And if you have to make any corrections, add anything. Well, the only thing you do is add. You're not going to be able to take anything away. If you need to add a little more chicken broth, by all means do so. This looks about right to me. I'm going to let it sit and absorb, do its thing, and we'll come back to it in about 10 or 15 minutes, see where we are. And at that point, we're actually going to go to the bird with this stuffing. We're going to stuff the turkey. Now, if you're not looking to do that, there's another way you can do this. At this point, you take your stuffing mix, you want to put it in a lasagna pan, a casserole pan, something like a 9x13, heavily buttered. Butter the dish first. Place all your turkey stuffing mixture into that pan, into the dish. And what you want to do, this is very important, you want to pack it in. And you want a thick level. So fill that casserole dish as much as it can go. If it's too thin, then what's going to happen, it's going to dry out because you're going to take it to the oven. You're going to bake this off in the casserole dish for about 45 minutes to an hour at 350 degrees. So make sure that dish is full, right to the top. Pack it in. Don't be afraid to pack it in. And that'll keep your stuffing moist. Also, another great option, if you're gonna do this and if you're gonna do the dish route, the casserole dish route, you can do this 3 days ahead of time. You don't have to wait till the last minute when you're all stressed out trying to get everything done. on Thanksgiving Day. You don't need that. So make life easier on yourself. Do this, get it prepared 3 days ahead of time, get it in the casserole dish, cover it with foil or plastic wrap, leave it in your refrigerator. And then at the last minute, all you have to do is pull it out of the oven, uncover it, bake it at 350 degrees, 45 minutes to an hour, or until it starts browning on the surface. And there's just one major step out of the way on Thanksgiving Day. All right, we have a 12-pound turkey. We just removed it from the brine, patted it dry, and next comes stuffing. Basically, the best thing to do, use your hands. The best tool in the kitchen, actually. Just grab a bunch, open up the cavity, shove it in. I think we got enough stuffing here to stuff about 2 or 3 more turkeys, but when it comes to food, more is not less, especially Thanksgiving. So just keep packing it. You don't have to worry about closing this side of it up. Just pack it until it's pretty much even with the end of it. Pack it in there tight. Yep, definitely enough for another turkey. But if you're gonna do this route, you're gonna stuff the turkey, you have a lot left over. Like I was saying before, just cook it off in a small glass casserole dish, 350 degrees for about an hour. And this could be your like turkey stuffing side. Or you could just add it with the stuffing you remove from the turkey when it's done. All right. Let me just turn this around so folks can see it. There we are. There's our stuffed shitties 12-pound turkey ready for the oven. All right, we have a stuffed turkey ready to go to the pan. Just before we do though, I want to either like coat some olive oil on the external part of the turkey. You can use olive oil, you can use some melted butter, that would work really good too. But just to get some lubrication, rub it all around. This will aid in the browning of the turkey as well. Don't need a lot. And then we're gonna season with some salt and pepper. Okay, we're using a roasting pan with a rack. That'll hold the turkey in place. All right, this is a stuffed turkey, so it's gonna require a little more attention with the cooking times. For 12 to 14-pound turkey stuff, we're looking at 325 degrees for about 3.5 to 4 hours. We want to make sure that the internal temperature is 165 degrees, and that is to be taken right in the thigh joint. If you come right down on the inside of where the leg here meets the breast, if you go straight down, you can get that temperature probe into the thigh, and make sure it's 165 degrees and the juices are running clear. Okay, so we're ready to go to the oven with the turkey. We're going into a preheated 325 degree oven. Okay, like I said, this is a 12 to 14 pound stuffed turkey. It's gonna take about 3.5 to 4 hours at 325 degrees. So keep an eye on it every hour or so. Feel free to baste it. That's one of the fun things on Thanksgiving. You get to open the door, everybody can see the masterpiece, and family and friends can gather around as you're doing your basting. If during the cook time you begin to see too much browning going on, if you still have an hour or so left, don't be afraid to tent it with a little foil. That'll keep the browning from getting a little bit too far. Then you can just remove it at the end. But that's it, about 3.5 to 4 hours. And then you can remove it from the oven, let it rest for about an hour before the next step. So hopefully you liked today's episode and you're gonna do this stuffing. Smash that like button and subscribe for more tips. I'm Tommy the Busher. Keep smoking, and I'll see you next time.